He kōna ipurangi tēnei nā te reo irirangi o Aotearoa.
This podcast was made with funding from the Public Interest Journalism Fund.
Kia ora, welcome to In Case You Missed It. Ko tāre tōku ingoa, time to tahuna te ahi with a look at what's been happening here in Aotearoa and overseas. In Hawaii, sad news as work continues to find and identify people killed in the deadly wildfire. So far, over 100 people are known to have died in the fires which ripped through Maui. Now people are trying to figure out what sparked the fire, with one possibility of power lines which came down in high winds. A Maui resident got a video of a power line coming down shortly after dawn.
Thing was just arcing away on the ground, landed right in dry grass, so sparks, and then there was a fire.
Our thoughts and prayers go out to all of those whānau affected. 4 Australian tourists who went missing off the coast of Indonesia have been found alive. The tourists were on a surf trip to celebrate a birthday in Indonesia. The friends were on boats 150 kilometres off Sumatra Island on Sunday afternoon when they were hit by bad weather and heavy rain. The 4 friends endured the storm and spent 36 hours floating at sea on surfboards off the coast before rescuers found them on Tuesday. That is one gnarly trip. And it's also been an intense week of semi-finals games in the FIFA Women's World Cup. Spain took on Sweden and England played Australia. Spain beat Sweden 2-1 and Australia had a devastating 3-1 loss on home soil to England. Sunday night we'll see England and Spain go head-to-head to see who will be crowned the world champions, which would be a first for either side. Now Spain and England are both very strong teams, but my pick, England takes it out. Engineering students at the University of Canterbury have developed a new robo-kiwi to help discourage dogs from attacking and killing the flightless birds in the wild. The students analyse kiwi behaviour and movement so their model is as realistic as possible. The robotic kiwi will be used to train dogs to avoid kiwi being attacked.
It's got realistic leg movements and it can be set off by the trainer at an appropriate time when the dog comes past. So when the dog starts to interact with it, can be given a correction.
This comes after 31 kiwi are known to have died in Northland alone over the last 6 months, with 24 of them mauled by dogs. We're celebrating 50 years of hip-hop this week. This genre of music has not only produced some of the most talented musicians in the world, but hip-hop has had a global influence on protest, resistance, and political statements. Closer to home, here is a legendary group of people who did just that.
On the 16th of June 1971, a group of young Polynesians came together to protest against the racial inequality experienced by Indigenous Māori and Pacific Islanders in Auckland. They called themselves the Polynesian Panther Party. The Polynesian Panthers had seen their people treated badly by New Zealand authorities, who were cracking down on what they called illegal immigrants or overstayers.
Many Pacific Islanders were invited over to Aotearoa in the 1950s and 60s when New Zealand was experiencing an industrial boom and found itself short on workers. But after 1973, the New Zealand economy declined and jobs dried up.
New Zealand politicians and the media began to blame Pacific Islanders for overloading social services.
Polynesians, including Māori, were being randomly stopped and harassed for their passports. Falsely arrested for minor incidents and regularly abused in public. This included the Dawn Raids era, where many Polynesian homes were raided by police at early hours of the morning, where anyone without documentation was arrested and deported back to the islands.
They would pull the beating off you and shine the spotlight in your eyes, calling them names, telling them to get up and to get out, dragging our people out of their homes and whatever they were wearing.
Enter the Polynesian Panther Party. The Panthers protested the treatment of their people by organising marches and rallies and visiting schools. They campaigned for Pacifica to access quality education, health, housing, and provided legal support to families targeted by the police.
It took years, but people started to listen, and gradually attitudes changed and the government backed down on its anti-Pacifica policies. Today, the spirit of the Panthers lives on, with many of its members still involved in important activism and protests.
Kia ora. To end today, have you ever wondered what's under the footpath? Well, in India, residents noticed cracks in a footpath and strange noises. It turned out 3 crocodiles had started breaking their way through the concrete. The crocodiles were removed by specialist handlers. Yep, I would definitely leave that one to the specialists. Well, that's me for this week. Thank you so much for joining us. Enjoy your weekend. Hei kona.
This podcast was made with funding from the Public Interest Journalism Fund.